Hello everyone, my name's Tony and welcome back to Fragdicted. In today's episode we're going to be going through some new fragrances from a new fragrance house that have only just launched in 2020. And the name of that fragrance house is Calaj Perfumes. Stay right where you are. So again, thanks for joining me. If you haven't pushed that subscribe button, please do. That'd be awesome if you could do that. You can also follow me on Instagram, and here is my handle. So Calaj Perfume is owned by Flavius Calaj. Those behind the perfumes is Miguel Matos. So here is the Instagram handle for Calaj Perfume. You can also follow Miguel Matos on Instagram here, and I'll link the website where you can find the fragrances and both their Instagram handles in the description below. One final person to mention is Sam. Sam has kindly introduced me to this brand by sending me these samples. His Instagram handle is Sam the Scent. I'll link his description below also, and here is his Instagram. Sam, thank you very much for the introduction to the brand. Very, very kind of you. So there's 4 fragrances in the lineup so far, all been created by Miguel Matos. They're all extrait parfums with 30% oil concentration, so they're strong. And I believe they're around €150. I'll put that on the screen here for 50 ml bottles. The first one I'm going to be talking about is Blackbeard, and there is the colour of the juice. So what I'll do, I'll leave the description from the website on the screen now, just while I run through the notes with you. So in the top we have orange, bergamot, petitgrain, artemisia and basil. In the mid we have lavender, geranium, rose and carnation. And in the base we have tonka, patchouli, moss, musk, leather, tobacco and amber. So there's as you can see, there's a lot going on and some quite masculine notes apart from obviously the rose and the carnation. So firstly, there needs to be a public warning on this fragrance. It is powerful. It's an absolute beast, a bomb. It is just insane how powerful this stuff is. But what does it smell like? So it does smell, as you'd expect from the description and the name, it's extremely masculine and manly. So the type of person I can imagine wearing this wouldn't be your typical Jack Sparrow type pirate. The type of pirate that I think would get away with this would be Euron Greyjoy. So very manly, very deep and dark. So don't expect much sweetness and light in this fragrance. It is quite daring. I would describe it as a spicy fougere, but with some animalics. The sillage is insane. So one spray from this little bottle and it absolutely fills a room. It's nuclear, it really is. It absolutely jumps off the skin, it slaps you in the face. It's extremely creative and artistic. It has got some familiar notes that do make it a fougere. It just pushes the boundaries with the animalics. There are some notes in it I do actually like. I do like fougere fragrances, so this is something that I should in theory like. However, there is just something in there that's animalic that doesn't agree with me, that I just find too challenging for my basic nose. So for that, Calaj, I'm sorry, this isn't for me, but it is well crafted, really well crafted and great quality. So moving on to the next one, Transylvania. There's the colour of the juice. And what I'll do is I'll put a description again on the screen while I run through the notes with you. So in the top we have black cherry, rose oxide and Angelica. In the mid we have jasmine, tuberose, immortelle, honey, and in the base we have coumarin, opanax, civet, musk, patchouli, vanilla and oud. So what does this smell like? It's quite sweet. It's very sweet actually. It's fruity and it's resinous and it's floral. I get mainly cherry in the opening and I get a hell of a lot of sweetness. It's very sticky almost. This again to me is pushing the boundaries of how strong you can make a fragrance. Again, it fills a room. Again, there's something in it that's a little bit animalic that puts me off a little. It's very niche, a little too niche for me. If you wanted to put this into a category, I would say it's slightly gourmand. But once the things like the civet and the oud and the opanax and the musks and the coumarin start to come through, it makes it a little bit too challenging for my nose personally. Let's move on to the next one. So the next one is incredible colour. It's called Love Toxin. There's the colour of the juice, and as you can see, as I move it around, it stains the bottle, and it's also stained the atomizer, so I wouldn't advise spraying this anywhere near clothes. It smells like sweets out of the atomizer. It's very, very, very sweet. Let me put a description on the screen while I run through the notes with you. So in the top we have bergamot, coriander, plum, coconut, strawberry and rose oxide. In the mid we have cumin, rose, tuberose, jasmine, heliotrope, gardenia and iris. And in the base we have peach, oak moss, vanilla, hay, castoreum, opanax, musk and leather. So this is very, very sickly sweet. Sweeter even than Transylvania, which is a very sweet fragrance. And there's a lot of florals in this. To me personally, I think it's a little too feminine for my liking. And I find it almost too sickly sweet. There's a real jammy rose in it. It's very resinous, it's very thick. But one thing I would say, it's again very well created. It smells very natural and it is beast mode. Again, absolute beast mode. Again, a couple of sprays of this will just last you all day. I think personally, if you give it a little bit of time to settle on the skin, it improves, it makes it more wearable and not so challenging. I wouldn't call this a tender love. This is the sort of love that jumps out of nowhere and absolutely grabs you and smashes you in the face. It is really intense love. That's what this is. It's big and it's bold and it's bombastic and it's daring. It's an absolute explosion on the skin, it really is. And again, the sillage is huge. Again, it's just a little bit too challenging and too loud for me. Now, one thing I would say about these three fragrances is that if you have fallen into the deep and dark rabbit hole that is fragrance, and you really struggle to find things that are daring enough for you, because you've smelt everything, you've smelt a lot, and nothing really excites you, and you're always trying to search for that next thing that's quite challenging, these would really, really suit you. These would be something that I would definitely recommend getting your nose on if you're that type of person. If you're just starting out in fragrance and you're looking to buy your first niche fragrance, these first three I've mentioned, I personally would think they're a little too challenging. So I know Sam loves these, and that proves where Sam is in his journey on fragrance, because he really appreciates these, and I do too. Being literally genuinely honest with you, I've got nothing to, I don't owe this company anything. They've not asked me to actually review the fragrances, but I personally think they are incredible fragrances for a first time release. And you can tell where Flavius wants to go with his brand. It is very loud, and I applaud him for that. They're just not going to be for everybody. Let's move on to the last one. The last one is called Oshun, and there is the colour of the juice. Let me put the description on the screen while I run through the notes with you. So in the top we have lemon, cinnamon, black pepper, pine tree and blackcurrant. In the mid we have rose, jasmine, magnolia and cloves. And in the base we have amber, castoreum, Peru balsam, tonka and tobacco. So what's this one like? In the first spray you get a bit of spice, you get a bit of zestiness from the lemon, and you get a slight amount of greenness to it. Not too much, just a hint of green. The lemon actually stays throughout, but it doesn't become a citrusy fragrance. This is a fragrance of contradictions in my opinion, because it's light and airy, but also has some depth and some darkness to it too. It's incredibly addictive and very unique, but without it ever being too challenging or too sweet or too sour. It sort of sits in the middle. If I was going to describe it, I would say it's a little like a spicy oriental fougere. It's classic, but it's modern at the same time. There's enough uniqueness to make it different to other fougères out there. The only thing that's missing from this to make it a fougere, in my opinion, is the lavender. That's not a bad thing because it makes it something different. It's quite unique. It's a fragrance that's all on its own. It's trying to do its own thing. I find it a little herbal. It's, you know that sensation you get from mint when you breathe mint in? You get this sort of cooling sensation that clears your sinuses and clears your nose. Something like tiger balm. It doesn't smell like tiger balm, but I get that same sensation when you take this in. When you sniff it from your hand, it sort of clears the airways. So I find it a little herbal. I think you could wear this all year round. It's incredibly versatile. You could wear it in any weather, high heat, low heat, any season, any occasion. It is signature scent worthy, definitely. One of the other things I like about it is when it warms up and when it starts to settle on your skin, although you get that cooling sensation, and this is going back to that contradiction, it actually is quite warming and quite comforting. It really does stick to your skin. It performs well. The sillage is good. It lasts on your skin for hours. It projects very well, but it never becomes too loud or too brash or in your face. I find this much easier to wear than the other three fragrances, and I would go as far to say as that I would own this. I really enjoy it. I don't want you to think that this is something that everybody's going to enjoy, because they won't, but I enjoy it. It's to my taste. It's definitely the one I would pick of the four based on what I like. I hope you enjoyed this review on Calaj Perfumes. I'd like to wish Flavius good luck with his brand, and what a nose to get on your first few fragrances with Miguel Matos putting his craft on these. You really have got something quite unique going on. So I wish you the best of luck. Thanks again to Sam for getting me involved in this brand. I really enjoyed reviewing them, really enjoyed sniffing them. Although they weren't to my taste, it's something new to get my nose on that I've never smelt anything like them before. So keep doing your thing. Don't forget to like the video, comment, would you like to try these? Have you tried any? Do any pique your interest? Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it if you could do that. There's one last thing, don't forget to keep smelling wonderful.